So now that the Xterra decided to give up the goose on the highway and grenade its head gasket.
Report, dude.
Yeah. After doing a lot of stuff to it and getting that thing ready to take some trips, the F-250 is moving up in the project pipeline. And so I'm going to get this thing into position. While I'm kind of moving around, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of it and get it in a nice little workstation so that I can pretty much go through, prioritize the CJ7, work on that. That is my #1 project priority right now because I need to get that going. And when I'm waiting on parts, or maybe I'm trying to assess some parts, or I've got stuff at the machine shop, if I end up taking the engine or any of the other hard parts to the machine shop, and I'm waiting, I can be working on the F-250 and multitasking. This isn't that far from being back on the road. I know I say that, and it's obviously missing the whole front end, but the front clips on these old Dentside Fords is really, really easy to remove to get access to everything. And I've already done a lot of fab work to the interior. I went through and replaced the whole entire floorboards. I bought this thing and it was really nice. Drove it home about 3 hours. I went, fired the thing up. I had a new battery, put some good gas in it, and drove it home. And I was so happy with this truck. I always wanted a Dentside Ford, F-250 specifically, a heavy duty. And 6 months later, the engine blew up. Literally, like shot a main bearing through the rear of the oil pan and spewed oil everywhere.
Well, there's going to be a $45 cleanup fee because I've got to take my truck back to the shop when I'm done. I've got a...
and it had a rebuilt motor in it, so somebody didn't torque some of the bearing caps down like they should have probably. Or something else, I don't know. Something on the inside of that motor just let go. And it has pretty much sat ever since I ripped the engine out of it and everything. But I put all new floor pans in it, redid the interior. It's got new carpet. The whole interior is solid. And went on the hunt for an engine and totally lost interest in the project. I think partially because it's like I was mad at it because it was such a cool truck. And I spent a little more money to get a cool truck, and look what it got, where it got me. I would have been better off buying it in shambles on a trailer, and I'd probably be at the same point I'm in now, as long as the body was straight. So anyhow, I'm gonna move this into position, and I'll talk and work while I do this so you can get a better idea of the truck. These are on rollers that are pretty old and roll pretty good, but any little like pebble or debris in the garage floor, it will get stuck. They just hang up on stuff. Oh yeah. Here's the front clip. It's in decent shape. This whole truck's in really good shape. I'm pretty excited to work on this thing. So the Xterra deciding to go in timeout may have been a good thing. I don't know. I'm still a little upset about that. Oh, I might be able to move. Yeah, I'll just leave this here and move it over. This truck has no lift on it. It is factory suspension. However, it has a snowplow prep package on it called the Northerner. And it is, I think it's the Northerner, but that gives it a high output heater inside the cab, and it came with factory installed snowplow prep. So it had big 3/8 inch steel bars running out for mounting the actual plow brackets. And when I took the plow off this truck, this whole front end came up like 2.5, 3 inches. I mean, it just, and so, you know what? I put 35s on it with all its stock suspension components. And I put RS 9000 Rancho shocks that I've never run. They're pretty cool. It did good. This is a pretty heavy sprung truck because of the snowplow. So I didn't want it to be oversprung and under dampened. And so running the RS 9000 seemed to do pretty good. These tires are mud. They're what are they? They're called Mud Stars. They are Chinese tires. I'm pretty sure. I got them off Amazon. But they had an old school mud tire look, and that's what I wanted, and they're pretty cheap. But they're actually pretty cool tires for this. This doesn't get driven that much, especially now. But I'm going to get this thing moved over, and then I can give you a little bit more of the history behind it, because it's pretty cool. There we go, it's moving. And I've got another truck I'm picking up that I'm gonna have in the summer sometime, which is gonna be really cool when that one comes. And that one's gonna probably jump to the front of the line for a really good reason, which I don't want to spoil it. It's pretty good right there. It doesn't need to be. Oh, gloves I've been looking for forever. We're tucked in the corner. Cool. Man, I might be able to swing this over. This is pretty good how it's angled. I kind of like that. The CJ, if you look, I'll back up. You can see kind of where the space is at right here. I mean, I've got an engine, transmission, transfer case, all stuff to the side. I'm going to build an engine rebuild station because I've got so many motors to rebuild and transmissions to rebuild. And there's a lot of adventures I want to go on in this channel, but right now I don't have many vehicles that will take me the places I want to go. They're all dying. I've got my Suburban, which that will take me where I want to go, but that's like the family cruiser, and I'll have that on the channel eventually. I got something planned for that in the upcoming months that'll be really cool. That's a really, really cool truck that is very capable, but it's also really nice. And it's a 95 Suburban. When I talk about a nice Suburban, I'm not talking about a new one. It's just an old GMT 400 Suburban that I've rebuilt everything and done a lot of cool stuff to. But this is looking pretty good. I can get back through here easy. I could even pull the front end in if I need to. Get that up here. So I have some overhead cover. That's pretty good. What I don't want to do is, I've got one really tall bay door in the shop, and what I don't want to do is go through and block that off entirely, and then I can't get my stuff down here and get it into at least some kind of overhead in the shop if I've got to do like some, I won't say emergency work, but crazy front end work. I also have plenty of garage space and driveway space upstairs by the house, or up by the house, that I can, if I have to, I've got like a small tool set up there. I can do basic maintenance and stuff like that. But man, it's just easier coming down to the shop. Like, I'm not going to pretend that it's easy to haul stuff up there and work on it. And I've got a jack up there. I've got like really basic, like typical garage stuff. Not like I do down here, obviously. But I can move this into place. Cool. I think the coolest thing about working on a massive truck is literally the whole bed is storage right now. But that's pretty good. Can I get this stuff out? Yep, I sure can. Cool. This heater core and everything is also has an evaporator core for an AC unit. Yes, this had factory AC. And you may be wondering, why don't you keep that? Well, because the previous ownership at one point in time, this was a plow truck for Grissom Air Force Base at one point in time. And then I had a second owner, and the guy loved it. When I bought it, he cried. And he just had it sitting. He was getting a little older and had a couple trucks that he wanted to get rid of, and this was one of them. And it had to run forever. And he kept it in good shape. Like, I don't know how mechanically inclined he was. I mean, he's like a farmer, so he can do a little bit. And he had the engine rebuilt by somebody who was supposed to be a real good mechanic, and he probably was. Mistakes happen, like engines let go. But this evaporator core, heater core box is massive. When you have the engine go into this thing, like the passenger valve cover is getting shoehorned and sandwiched like right up in this spot right here. And so this is a really massive engine bay that's wide open. It shouldn't be that hard to get that up there. And so I'm going to go and replace this with just a non-AC heater core, because also like the heater lines were hacked. Somebody had taken off the actual compressor. And so I will keep this in good shape though, because if I want to put it back on, or someone else needs a heater core / AC core, it's factory, or evaporator core box, then I've got one. And you can even see the factory AC lines coming out of it. So a little bit about the truck. It has, like I said earlier, a 351 modified was what came in it. Made to do a C6, made to do an MP208, Dana 60 rear, high pinion Dana 44 with disc brakes in the front. 410 gears, I know that. And I don't know what engine I'm going to put back into, I can tell you that. I'm going to do some marketplace hunting as well as evaluate what I already have. And if I have a lot of parts for a 351 modified, then I'll build a 351 modified. And I've got a block that looks like it just needs to be honed. I haven't put a bore gauge in it to see how round the bore is, but it was a running motor that caught on fire. And so there's evidence of oil starvation issues on the crankshaft. And the driver's side head was pretty bad. But other than that, like, I think it's a pretty good motor. So anyhow, I'm going to finish getting this thing into place and work a little bit while I keep the camera rolling. Probably speed it up so I'm not boring you guys. I know you want to see some action. Wow. You know, this is pretty good. I'm just going to leave this spot right here. I think I'm going to do a 351 modified or a Ford 400, whatever I find, but something in the modified family, because I have a ton of stuff for that motor. What do I have? So let's start off. This is, if I remember correctly, this was the next thing I was going to do to this truck. Oh, here it is. It is an HEI ignition. Oh yeah, it'll fit a 429 in here as well, but those are super rare motors. You're not gonna just find those sitting on Marketplace in good shape, even rebuildable shape probably. I don't want to open it. I do want to open it for some reason to make sure it's actually in here. All right, let's see. Sweet. It's a Summit Racing HEI ignition. So I was going to upgrade the ignition system. So we got that. All right. I have 2 Performer intake manifolds for this. Dual plane. Nothing crazy, but I know the factory intake manifold was very restrictive as far as airflow and fuel delivery. And so I'll probably not open that one and just double check to make sure that I've got the same exact intake manifold on the engine that blew up. The top part of the motor is fine, but I'll probably clean that up and reuse that, because I don't mind reusing a part that was already mine. So, and I could sell this or do something else with it. And this is never been out of the box, not even wrapped. And then I have a high performance water pump for a modified motor as well. Then I have some dead soft aluminum header gaskets because guess what? I have some headers for this and I can't remember what brand they are. I think they're Flowtech, but it's a giant box up in top and I'm not pulling that down. But those are true long tube headers and a comp cams camshaft for a modified engine. So that's gonna go on. And a matching timing set for the comp camshaft, dual chain, of course. And then what else? Oh, I forgot I had this. Is it new or did I already go through and mess with this? An engine gasket set for a Ford, Felpro, but I don't know how much I used out of this, so I need to inventory that and probably buy another one. Sometimes I found it's cheaper depending on where you get the gasket set, especially if you're doing a lot of work to a motor, to just get the engine kit set and then piece by piece pull stuff out of it and use it. By the time you've pulled like 3 or 4 main things out of it, you've got your money out of it, and then you've always got spares. I need to use these. These are in like brand new shape. An oil filter. This is the nail in the coffin, I think, that will guarantee I build a modified motor of some sort. Ford modified, that is, built. So the plan is to get the engine in this thing. We'll rebuild an engine. Probably the block that's on the stand as it is. I need to figure out cylinder heads because I'd like to have good cylinder heads on it. And I want to put a part-time transfer case in. The NP28 transfer case is a full-time case. It's actually, for what it's worth, a decent transfer case. It's what is used oftentimes to compound with an NP205 to make a doubler. A type of doubler that Offroad Design sells, which is really good. Maybe I'll see if I can get a 205 from them. I don't know, or find one on Marketplace. And then front end work, but I can do some of this stuff like after the truck's back in the road and running. Probably needs brakes. It had all original brakes, and I saw evidence of some brake fluid leaking. What else does it need? Like I said, the heater core. Everything else was in good shape. That's probably it. And then body work where it matters, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do with the truck. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep it. I wanted one forever, but I went this long and clearly wasn't too upset about finishing it or fixing it because it sat forever. So I don't know. Well, next time you see this, we're gonna be set up and tearing this thing into pieces and whatnot, and going to town on it. So I'm gonna start getting things set up and in place as far as tools go, and going and finding all the hardware for this thing. I've got them in little commando case trays so they're organized, but I don't know. I don't even know where I put those at right now. I know I stored them in a good place, not a secret place on purpose, but I've got like 4 of them filled. Like the whole front end of this truck takes the same bolt pretty much, so that's not bad. I am gonna go find all those bolts. I know they're here. So I'm gonna go find those. Check this out. This was the distributor that was in the rebuildable engine block I have when it caught on fire. Good thing I got the HEI distributor, huh? I don't think this one's rebuildable. It is total crud. The gear's okay on the bottom, but I wanted you to see that. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick walk around before I end this, just so you get an idea of this truck. So, obviously the whole front's off. This is that massive. I mean, my hand's on there. I'll find something better for comparison. This is That's a big snap-on 3/8 inch ratchet. I mean, this thing protrudes out of the firewall. And so it is a big box. So that's got to go. Everything else is in really good shape though. If you go and look at it, I mean, check the frame out. I know if you're from like Southern California and you're watching this, you're like, that guy's a nutcase. Like, that's not a good frame. I'm in Northern Indiana. That's what I like to call it, a really good frame, an old truck. So let's go and look over here. Got a little bit of Indiana patina. No big deal. I think I'll probably replace that eventually. I didn't get into it when I was doing the floor just because I got really OCD on the floor and took way longer than I needed to. Got a little bit of rust right there, or Indiana patina. That's what I like to call it. Sugar coated a little bit. Here's the backside. The backside from over here you can see is got a little bit of road rash from something, a little bit more than whiskey dents on the back here. The rest of this panel is really straight. If I go and follow, I mean, you got nothing. It's a really good bed. The inside of the bed has no liner, it's all original. It was painted, this truck was painted Omaha orange at some point or time. And the paint job is not very good. I mean, it's a good looking paint job from like 10 feet away, and it polishes up, but you can see where it's flaking right there. And then I would show you the inside of the bed, but I also have a mat down that I got that actually came with this truck. And clearly the front clips in the bed of the truck. So let's go. We're walking by the engine. Here's the engine. It's, turn a little inspection light on. Yep. It's pretty good. It's really dirty, hasn't been cleaned. I will probably hone it, clean it, hone it, and rebuild it, as long as it specs out with the bore gauge. And then here's the interior. Lighting is, I don't have, yeah, you can see pretty good, but here's the floor. That is all redone. Started getting into the dash right here. Dash was also painted Omaha orange to match. The seat is, I got this, don't mind my sweet seat cover off of, I think I got it on Amazon, but yeah, I got it in there pretty good. I'll take it apart and show you the seat when I get to the interior, but the seat is in awesome shape. It had a rat get in it at one point in time, and it just pulled some foam out, but the foam was very minimal what was taken out, and I fixed that and just stuffed some new foam and put a cover on there to protect it. But like, the seat is in really good shape. This side is pretty straight. You've got that mess down there. You can see it's crushed in a little bit. You've got some more Indiana patina coming through here. Some sweet graphics somebody put on probably in the 80s. And then the previous owner called it spiffy, but you can see that, pull the fenders up. This is, right here, there we go. This is smashed pretty good. And someone worked on the tailgate, and like, I don't know why, but they basically bolted it back together. Huh, I can't remember why. I remember I figured out why, but I basically, to shut it, I ram the cam on the tailgate over the actual striker, and then I use a breaker bar to pop it, and I carry a breaker bar in a truck. So I've seen enough good tailgates floating around on Marketplace that like when I have to replace that and time comes, I'll just go snag one up. So I'm not too worried about it. Other than that, let's go to the driver's side. You've got the really cool Dentside gauges, which everything minus temp works. And oil. Well, okay, the tach and the speedometer works. Some lights come on too. I don't know if anything else works on there, but I've got 2 more gauge clusters, so I can go and fix that if I need to. But oh yeah, down here, same thing. I cleaned the factory shift boot up for the 208. There's a bunch of random switches I'll take off and clean all this up. I've got to make a new, it's like the actual steering shaft, I think it's a carrier, it's like a carrier bearing almost. It supports this section right here. You can see better. I got to replace that, and I will probably do some pretty gnarly 3D printing parts for that. I've got a machine that can fuse multiple materials and print high performance engineering grade stuff, so I'll probably make a carbon fiber nylon block that has fused polyurethane in it that hugs that, so I can kind of sandwich it in. Other than that, like, I got a new steering shaft for this that's a slip yoke, so when you get in a wreck, you're not getting stabbed by the steering wheel. Plus, it also has new U-joints on it, so it was a nice steering. Oh yeah, I need to get a steering box. The steering box for this thing was just worn, probably from all the plowing and whatnot that this thing did, and low RPM turns, and someone strong arm steering trying to get this thing in position for pushing snow. So I'm going to probably send that in to get rebuilt, or get a new one, and then it's done. It's ready to go. So that's going to do it with this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you look forward to watching me work on this thing and get it on the road and take it on some adventures and take it some places, whether it's a car show or some crazy cool off-road adventure someplace. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this truck once I get it going. I'm really just focused on getting the motor back in, and this thing running and driving down the road before I think of crazy stuff I want to do with it. Plus, it's a good candidate for doing some off-road stuff because it's already got a bunch of small dents all over it, and the body's not perfect, but it's in decent shape. The hard parts, the bones of this truck are what's really good. The frame's awesome. The engine was awesome until it grenaded. It's a cool truck, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed kind of the intro to this and a little bit of the history, so you understand like what I'm doing with it when I'm building it and kind of the direction I'm taking the project. So, all right, I'll see you next time. Thanks.